Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is Pastor Marvin Hightower, and I'm president of the Peoria branch NAACP. James Baldwin said, "It is certain, in any case, that ignorance allied with power is the most ferocious enemy justice can have." As we continue to advocate in memory of Mr. George Floyd, now is the time we must ask ourselves, what does justice look like? We all want all the officers involved arrested and convicted, but justice for Mr. Floyd also means bringing the end to the criminalization of black skin. It means holding police departments accountable for their role. It means addressing policy in a way that is fair and just for us. The NAACP will always support a peaceful protest such as the one organized by Sincere and his team. It was utterly amazing to see such a large group of diverse individuals stand up for justice in peace. However, what it has devolved into is trying to take the focus off of what's important. You do not fight hatred, racism, and injustice with destruction of property, violence, and stealing. And I am asking all the individuals who have been involved in the criminal activity and the destruction of our city to please stop. This is not how we fight. This is not how we will win. The Bible clearly says that we are to be angry and sin not. And we cannot allow, or we cannot afford to allow, the actions of a few to take the focus off of the bigger picture. The actions of the few should not dictate to the majority how we should address the injustice of our justice system. The NAACP will continue to protest peacefully, we will continue to demand persistently, and we will continue to fight politically, and we are going to vote in November because we are done dying. Thank you. With that, I'm going to have Mr. Sincere Williams to come and talk.
So, I'm sure you all know that the peaceful march had nothing to do with the riots that were happening. But to that, you know, a lot of people have been asking us what we have to say to that, and I say there's nothing to say. There were over 1,000 people marching in solidarity together, and you have a couple looters stealing flowers. In comparison, I don't think there is anything to say to that. What I will say, though, is that the group who organized the march, we're looking to do more. We're not looking to stop, and just because just right now Black Lives Matter is trending and the hashtags are going around, so we are organizing a government today, and we're hoping to just pass this because we're all 18 through 20, we're hoping to pass this down to people of younger age and people in high school, really. We want them to take over when we're gone. So that is really my big message, that we are going to continue with this. We're going to continue with marches and activism, community activism, reform. We're looking for that. And that's all I have to say about that. As far as the Peoria Police Department is concerned, I know a lot of us, especially after the march, are aware that they've committed their own atrocities. I think that we should look for legislative action within our own city. to start, really. I know that there needs to be legislation across the U.S. and the state, but I think it starts here in Peoria with our own city, especially now since we're such a small city and everyone is coming out to be active and speak up. It's really easy for Peoria to get its message across, any message. So I think the message right now should be focused on the department and legislation for them, so we don't have to chant Black Lives Matter anymore in Peoria. At least we can stop that before it happens. You know, we don't have to keep having protests and rallies. So that's one of my biggest concerns. Some of the killings of unarmed black men, such as Louis King.
Is there another planned march already that you could give us details on, like date, time, location? I thought I saw something circulating on social media that there was one in the works. I'm not sure if that's something you can speak to.
That's nothing I can really speak to. There may be one in the works, though. I'm not sure.
Thank you.
Any other questions for him? That's good. I have Mr. Cannon. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I wrote my remarks normally. I just speak from the hip, but what I witnessed last night, this is not from the hip, this is from the heart, and it's a plea, it's a cry. It'll sound like Pastor Hightower. So I might repeat, but here's where I got with it. I love Peoria, Illinois. I was raised here. I left here when I joined the military, and I came back here to raise my family, and I founded Elite, a program to help kids get started in the right direction. Initially, I thought in Peoria, I thought we were getting it right. Our protest on Saturday was orderly. It got the point across. It honored the memory of Mr. George Floyd. But last night, Peoria started down a very dangerous and self-destructive path. Retailers across the city were targeted, looted, and set on fire. Walmart and Target, they closed early. Looters tried to set residences and businesses on fire. CityLink today delayed its operation. And my question to those who commit selfish criminal acts is, who are you mad at? You mad at Target? Target announced that they're going to close temporarily 175 stores across the country. Is that going to make our lives better? You mad at CityLink? How are we going to get around? You mad at Walmart? What'd they ever do to you? You shut it down, where are you going to shop? Where are you going to get groceries? I'm sitting right now in a food desert in this location. Where are our friends going to get jobs? We are literally shooting ourselves in the foot with this mentality. We are destroying the very services that we need to survive. So I repeat to those who are selfish, who you mad at? You mad at the cops? I get it. But you're going to let 4 bad cops in Minneapolis drive you to destroying our neighborhoods? You think every cop is like that? Well, we all know better than that. I'm mad at those Minneapolis cops too, but I'm not going to let that make me go out and do crazy, like destroy somebody's home or business. Sure, there are bad cops, but this does not give us the right to destroy our community. This is a chance for us to change. Listen, change a systematic wrong into an American right. Be part of the answer, not part of the problem. And remember, for every bad cop, there are good cops, and they live in Peoria. There are friends, our neighbors, and our family. Like most of America, I spent the weekend watching senseless rioting across the country. I watched neighborhoods reduced to rubble, rubble that will still look like that 10, 20 years from now, because nobody is going to want to rebuild in a place where they think it can be destroyed that easily. But what are we doing? But what we are doing is not honoring the memory of George Floyd. It's hijacking it. It's taking a tragedy and turning it in for some into an excuse to loot and shoot. And I close with a shout out to my elite family. Stay strong. Do everything you can to heal and restore order in our community. Do it like we always have, one person at a time, and do it with respect. Because respect is a two-way street, from me to you, from you to me. That's my remarks.
Good morning, all. My name is Terry Burnside. I'd like to be identified as a community activist. I wear several different hats in the community, and one of the main roles I like to be acknowledged as a peacemaker. Trying to bridge the gap between the community and law enforcement, that's one of my ultimate plans, one of my ultimate goals. But in order to do that, we have to do more things like this. A lot of my issues are we're not doing enough on the front end. I'm just saying that we're not doing enough on the front end, on the proactive side. A lot of things that we're seeing is reactive. So united like this, and I echo a lot of the same sentiments as the other gentlemen behind me have, we just got to do better. We got to do more. And my plea is to the community. Without affecting, I understand the frustration and what we're going through. A lot of people are tired, and I understand that piece. But what we have to know and understand that a lot of these stores didn't do anything to us. What are we benefiting from tearing down stores, looting, setting fires, creating just vandalism? So my position as a role in the community, you know better, you do better. So we got to do better, community. Stop the looting, stop the violence, and stop infringing on one another's rights. But my thing is, I wish we had the same urgency when young black men kill and shoot one another in the community. That's my ultimate plan. Ultimate goal is for us to unite like this on a positive level and just address the madness and the chaos when we're doing one another. Thank you. Proactive, in my opinion, is doing something on the front end before this happens. Let's educate. Let's reach out to one another and just share different thoughts, different ideas on how we can prevent and avoid things like this. Police are doing great jobs. I mean, they're getting condemned for a lot of stuff. Transparency is key. Transparency. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Obviously, it happened Saturday, Sunday. Violence in the city. What's your message, I guess, for the nightfall tonight? Consider robbing a store or breaking glass or anything.
Well, I say to the citizens in the community to make sure to maintain vigilance. If you see, I know it's cliche, but if you see something, say something. And make sure that you're keeping yourself safe, because we're still dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. Even though we've moved to another phase, we are still dealing with that, sandwiched in between this. And so we have to maintain a safe space, a safe shelter, and continue to be vigilant. That's what I'd say.
Does it worry you that so many people are out? You know, I mean, the protest on Saturday was beautiful, but so many people were out, not wearing masks, being in close proximity, chanting. Does that worry you? Because, I mean, the black community has been disproportionately affected by the coronavirus.
Oh, yes, and I just had this conversation with Sincere, how important it is to let his peers and everyone know that this virus has not gone anywhere just because we got tired of the virus. And the virus is not, as has been said, a respecter of persons. But it disproportionately affects us as a community even more. So I'm saying everybody needs to be careful just because the calendar says June 1st, the virus is still going on and numbers are still going up, and it takes the focus even off of that. And so it's important that we get tested. It's important that we maintain vigilance even in that space, because it's not gone anywhere.
No. I don't think it takes away from the message. I just think right now it's so highlighted because it's in direct contradiction with what we did Saturday, but I don't think it takes away from the message because everyone clearly knows that it's a different group of people doing a completely different thing. So, you know, I say let them do them, let us do us, and I think we get, you know, obviously we get the more positive attention because we're all fighting for the same cause, but we do it more positively. And so obviously I don't think they're related, and I don't think anyone perceives it as that.
Have you had any conversation with either Chief Marion or Mayor Artis about going forward and trying to curb anything tonight or going forward?
I have not as of yet, but I look forward to the conversation because it's definitely one that needs to take place.
And would you mind saying what you would tell the mayor or the chief?
Well, I would simply, the first thing I would tell the mayor is he needs to speak up and say something. First of all, about the injustice in Minnesota before putting emphasis on what happened last night and putting emphasis on the police department to treat us in the same manner that he would be treated or one of his family members would be treated. And then I'll say this, I'll say to the police chief or to any of our counterparts that they need to take a good look in the mirror and ask themselves if they would be okay if this happened to one of their family members. And if they say no, get educated and then start working to do something about it. It has to be a willing and a wanting on both sides of the equation. And I would say that it needs to be a good look, everybody needs to take a good look in the mirror and see what has happened over all of these years to finally stand up and say enough is enough.
Were you happy with Chief Marion's statement that you released last week?
At the initial release, there are some things that I'd like to address with one of the things that was said there, and that's something that we can work on. However, I think it's a good. I think it was a good first step. However, it's not the end-all, be-all. It's still some work that needs to be done. That'd be it. Thank you.